Here now, Brad Parscale, campaign manager of the Trump 2020 campaign. He previously served as digital director of the Trump 2016 presidential campaign. Brad, good to see you tonight. Thanks for being here.
Yeah, thanks for having me on.
So you heard what Hillary Clinton was saying in that tape, which was essentially that she said that their data was, not workable, it wasn't what it should have been, and that the data that you guys were using was basically fake news and data mining that she thought was questionable.
Yes, yeah. I mean, here's the thing is, once Obama won, they became complacent a little bit. And so after that, they formed the OFA, and when they did that, they really kind of split up everything. And when doing so, they really got themselves behind, I mean, significantly behind, and the Republican National Committee got ahead.
And what about the charge that it was fake news and nefarious data mining?
I don't think it's fake news. I mean, I definitely think, fake news with data mining? I mean, look, the Democrats were definitely behind us. I mean, what we did is build with the Republican National Committee and build up a voter file that had accurate information that we could use. And that information came from the party, and it's come through just surveys.
In terms of Hollywood, the Democratic National Committee and members of Congress are turning to Hollywood to help them with voter turnout and messaging. They have conference calls and work on their email list. In one recent meeting, a Midwestern senator sought advice about how to discuss gun control with conservative leading voters in her state, and according to multiple participants. So they're trying to talk to folks in Hollywood, directors in Hollywood, actors are also part of this group, and say, how can we reach these middle voters and get them to not vote for President Trump?
Well, this is the thing. I think Hollywood elites are just behind. They're not connected to the American people. The American people saw in Donald Trump someone that saw, what they're about. These are the guys that take showers sometimes after work, not just before work. And the Democrats and these liberal elites, they're just not connected. They're not connected to the American people. And what he's saying, I just think America's moved on. Donald Trump and President Trump has connected with the people in a way that, just previously these other people haven't not done. I mean, these liberals and Democrats have tried to connect with Hollywood. They try to do these things, and they're just out of touch. And the problem is Donald Trump is communicating with people, and he's making these things moving forward, the tax cuts and all the other things he's done. He's making the average day American's life and their personal economy and their personal security is getting better. I mean, look at what he just did with North Korea.
It's so interesting because last night I had Gary McCarthy on, who's running for mayor in Chicago, and he's a Democrat. He's running against Rahm Emanuel, who is also a Democrat. And Gary McCarthy's saying, look, there are Democrats out there who are like me. And he is, someone who really finds himself sort of more in the middle politically. But then you've got, Robert De Niro, as we showed you the other night, at the Tonys with the profanity-laced tirade against the president. And then here's what he said today, which was supposed to be some sort of apology. Watch.
I just want to make a note of apology for the idiotic behavior of my president. It's a disgrace. And I apologize to Justin Trudeau, and the other people at the G7. It's disgusting.
Your thoughts?
Look, I mean, again, these guys are just disconnected. I mean, Donald Trump is fighting for the American worker. Canada has raised 270%, tariffs on dairy, done things. People don't understand that these countries take advantage of us every day, and Donald Trump's fighting for them. American trade is one of the most important things we have, and we need to fight for our workers. Our jobs have been moved overseas, and President Trump is doing the things, and he needs to fight against these things. He's standing up, he's standing strong, and that's what the American voters voted for, was someone like President Trump who would stand up to him. And the Hollywood elites don't like it. They don't like the President Trump's success. They don't like seeing what's happened in the last 510 days. And they're trying to do anything they can to just make crazy comments, to just get the story off to something else. They don't want to hear. They think they can shift the story away from the successes. And unfortunately, some of the other media outlets are doing that.
Brad, thank you very much. We have some breaking news. We're going to go, but thanks for being here. Great to see you as always.